Hello, and welcome to Content and Coffee. I am so excited that you're here today to talk about content marketing and how it can make an awesome difference in your business. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nikki Nash, and I am a business coach. And I work with women who are starting their own online coaching or consulting or some sort of service-based business to work on their mindset and really be prepared and ready to break through any barriers you have with starting your own business, as well as really increasing your clients and growing your audience through digital marketing and content marketing. So that's a little bit about what I do. And I also want to introduce you, if you're in our Facebook group, to Delaney, who is in charge of all of our social content and is really a huge asset to the team. And she became an aunt the other day. So please congratulate her. She's super excited. And I just want to welcome you again and appreciate you being here. Per usual, just as a quick heads up, I keep notes to the side just to make sure I don't forget anything. So if you see me looking over here, that's really what's going on. And I'm just going to do a couple of quick housekeeping things before we dive into content today. So if this is your first time joining us, Content and Coffee happens every day, Monday to Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and we discuss for about maybe 15 minutes or so just a new tip or insight around content. We review a little bit about what we discussed the day before because they typically build on each other. And what also happens and will continue to happen is if you have questions, you can absolutely post any sort of content questions that you have. In our Facebook group, we have a little post that's like Ask Nikki Nash questions, and you can absolutely do that. And I'll spend time as we go on using maybe 1 or 2 sessions a week only to go through questions that we've received or to also just kind of answer questions on the fly, because I'll be using both, sorry about the lighting, both Facebook Live and Periscope at the same time. So constantly taking questions. So that's a little bit of housekeeping there. The other thing to note is that as you're reviewing this post, either live or on the replay, if you can just type in what you're getting out of it, what you're learning, what questions you have about the specific post or what's opened up for you, that is incredibly valuable for our team to really just figure out what else you want to know and what things you'd really like to get a sense of so that you can continue to grow and accelerate growing your business. So that's a little bit about me and about these morning chats. The other thing I just wanted to let you know is that the intention of these is really for you. And so I want you to just make sure that if there are things that you need, that you completely have the freedom to ask for them. And I'm more than happy to adjust how these are done. But typically I'll just come up with topics as days go on and just share them with you all. So yesterday, if you weren't able to join the live stream yesterday, I'll give you a quick sense of what we discussed. So what we've been really discussing is the importance of getting into your dream client's shoes and really understanding what their challenges are in their lives so that you're able to add value through content. So I'll give you a quick example, but a lot of times for me, I'll sit around and go, I don't know what content to create. I don't know what to write. I don't know what to blog about or do a video chat about or to Instagram about. It's just like blank. And what really the process I use, and we discussed this a little bit yesterday, is I go, wait a minute. My dream client for me and for a lot of people is essentially a previous version of myself. So for me, it was very much, I love working with women who are like, hey, corporate or full-time jobs, not for me. I want to create something for myself. And knowing that emotional roller coaster and the logistics and the challenges that brings up, I'm able to then support my dream clients through that journey and what life was like for me back then. So what we discussed yesterday is really just as you start thinking of your dream client and you're trying to come up with that content, you step into their life. I hate saying step into their shoes because it's really more of like, no, like I am that person. Like you go back in time and you're like, oh my goodness, I remember when like my job was literally like ripping out pieces of my soul, or I would cry, or I would like literally like eat ice cream for the heck of it every day because I was just stressed, like those sorts of things. And I go, okay, I remember what that was like for me. What information or content would have made a huge difference for me? What did I need to read or hear or watch at that point in time in my life that would have made a huge difference for me as I started my own business or decided to start my own business or things like that? So for you, if you have a target audience who's like, I don't know, you're a health coach, or you love blogging about food or fitness or marketing, whatever that may be, really just start getting a sense of your dream client, step into their world, and create content from there. So that's what we talked about yesterday, and we left yesterday with you really brainstorming. Okay, I know what that world is like for me. I remember what it was like. I stepped into it. I felt it. I was experiencing who my dream client is, and then you just started writing ideas, literally, like not ripping anything off the table or thinking anything was good and bad, but literally just writing down, okay, these are things that I think would have made a difference for me in my life, and I'm just going to jot them all down. I like to say, word vomit them onto a piece of paper and just sit with it and like leave the piece of paper alone and go, okay, those are my ideas. And so that's where we left off yesterday. And so if you haven't had a chance to kind of watch the videos from Tuesday and yesterday, definitely go back and do that. But just for the quick recap, your homework would be to really get a sense of who your dream target audience is, what their world is like, and start writing down how you could add value to their lives given the world that they're in. And so that's where we left off. And today what we're going to talk about is we're going to continue to expand on this concept of really getting in tune with your dream client and figuring out how to add value to their lives. And what I like to do is not get so in my head like, oh, I remember what it was like for me, therefore this is exactly what it's like for everybody else. And so what I strongly recommend you guys do is once you have that long list, or it could be a short list or 2-3 ideas, whatever, once you have that list, you start going, okay, are there any sort of themes? Are there any sort of cool angles or pieces of content here that are really resonating with you personally? And then go out to the community, go out to people who are actually your dream client and ask them, hey, if you were to receive content about this versus that, which would make a difference? So it could be like, hey, if you're trying to lose weight, do you care more about, healthy recipes? Do you care more about, what to buy at the grocery store? Or do you care more about workout plans? And you can just start pulling your audience those sorts of questions to get a sense of what makes more sense for you to focus on right now. And we discussed this a little bit earlier, but you never stop knowing your target audience. Like, as much as you're like, oh, I totally know my target audience, it's not true. You're going to keep learning about them every day, because it's really kind of almost impossible to have an idea completely of who your dream audience is. And when you think about it, it's like I still learn things about my best friend all the time. And I've known her since I was, 14 or 15. So it's going on like, I don't even know how many years, decade and a half, something like that. I don't know. I'm 32 now, so somebody else can do the math. But just really getting a sense of who your dream client is, it just never ends. So for you, what I strongly recommend is, hey, once you have that list of article ideas or blog post ideas or video ideas, doesn't matter what format you're going to put it in, but what I would start is polling your audience and getting a sense of which would resonate with them more. And what I really stress is that when you are polling that audience, you make sure that you're actually polling who your dream client is. So a lot of times, we'll go to, our best friends or our moms or people that we know and say, hey, which of these do you like better? But the challenge with that is that they might not actually be our target audience. So if you feel what I'm saying, like if you go to, like you could ask me, for example, you can say, hey, Nikki, I came up with what I think is the best piece of content that I would like to produce and share it with my target audience. What do you think of this topic? And what I think, unless I am your dream client, is kind of irrelevant. You should really ask the people who you're writing the content for if it's something that they even want to read about, because that's who's going to make the difference. If you're trying to attract a certain type of person, you want to check in with that type of person and say, hey, is this something you want? Is this something that's resonating with you? And, sometimes I'll speak to people and they'll say, I don't know how to find my dream client, or I don't know where they are. Well, that's when you can start using your network. And that's why getting crystal clear on who your dream client is so important. And so it's really knowing beyond I'm going after women that are 25 to 35, completely making this up, that live in New Jersey. Like, that's not very specific. If you are saying, I want women who are looking to lose the last 10 pounds and they've been trying time and time again and they're frustrated and they've kind of given up. If that's audience you're going after, like that paints a completely different picture. And then you can say, and ideally, or what I'm looking for is that these women are between 25 to 35 years old and they live in the continental US, or or North America, or whatever it is you want that to be. That's way more specific. And so if you have a clear picture of who your target audience is, if you don't know them, then you can start asking people, hey, I'm looking for this type of person in my life, to as my dream client, not similar to what you may do for dating, but for business, and say, this is the type of person I'm looking for. Do you know anybody that meets these requirements? So you can go to your network and get a sense of if anybody knows that type of person, so that you can start pulling them. You could also go into, there are tons of Facebook groups nowadays, and you can just, start searching for the right Facebook group, pop in there and say, hey, my dream client is somebody who, carries around 50 books on vacation because they love reading so much, and it's really like a challenge for them, and they want to have an e-reader, or they want audiobooks. Whatever your dream audience is, you just start getting crystal clear on who that person is, asking other people. If you don't know who that dream client is, you ask around so that you can get a group. And you don't need a huge group. You can get like 5, 10 people. And honestly, then once you have those people, you start pulling them. To go back to the content, and so that you get where I'm going, it's you really just start going to that audience. These are the specific things that I was going to produce content about. Which of these resonate with you, if any? And if you already have them in front of you, you might as well just start getting to know them better and deepening your understanding of your dream client. So you can ask them, what are the challenges in your life as it comes to, losing weight, or starting your own business, or, finding those daily moments of fun, whatever it is, or relaxing, whatever ties to your business. You can ask them specific questions and then say, okay, well, what do you think would make a difference? What information or transformation or content are you seeking for that you can't find, or that you're seeking for that's not resolving the challenge for you? And then you can create that. And it's really, honestly, that simple. Like, if I can say anything, is that content is probably one of the biggest areas where I feel like we overcomplicate it. So if any of you are like, yes, I overcomplicate my content creation process, or it stresses me out, just, type a message for me so that I can totally see who those folks are, because I can resonate with that. Like, I used to sit around brainstorming forever, like, oh, no, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. That's maybe good enough. That's not good enough. And then pick something. Oh, I like that. Put it out there to my target audience, and nobody read it. Or like the only people that read it were my best friends. And what we were really missing in those instances were actually talking to people that I wanted to write the content for, and actually going out there and saying, hey, which resonates with you? So that is really going to make a huge difference in terms of making sure that you're creating content that adds value to your target audience, that they actually want. And therefore, then you can transition them into being your dream, an actual client of yours, or using your product or service, or things like that. But it really starts with understanding who your target audience is, or your dream client, getting really crystal clear on that, stepping into their shoes in their world, which we discussed yesterday, brainstorming ideas in terms of how you can add value to their world, which we also discussed yesterday. And then today, what we discussed is really going and then actually asking them, does this make sense? Does this resonate? Is this what you want? And from there, you can start going, okay, I now know what you want to consume, what type of content you're looking for, what information you're looking for. And then you can go back and start brainstorming some more on specifics. So what I would say after you pull your audience, and for example, let's say with the 3 examples I gave earlier of, having recipes, or grocery shopping list, or diet plan, or workout plan, excuse me. If they said that what they really want is a 5-day workout plan, what you can then do is say, all right, my next piece of content is going to be all about workout plans. And you can brainstorm headliners, or headlines that are like, these are sexy, they're going to make you want to like sign up right away, or read whatever this blog post is, or watch whatever this video is, or click this ad link, because I know that this topic is of importance to you. I'm now going to come up with a great headline. And so what I would recommend that you strongly do today, this is like, I hate calling it homework, but it's really like each one of these comes with some sort of homework, or something that you guys can walk away and do and test out in the real world. It's, okay, I get that. I get who my target audience is. I get what their world is like. I've brainstormed some ideas, and now I've actually spoken to them and said, hey, which of these ideas resonate with you? What are you interested in? What do you really want to talk about? Oh my goodness, I totally get it. And so, like, if those are the steps, that's where I would really go today is take your brainstorm list of ideas. If you haven't created one from yesterday, absolutely watch the previous videos and start brainstorming content ideas that would add value to your dream client's audience, your dream client's world. You want to really just add value to their world, and then pull them, talk to them. It's really that simple. And there's no right or wrong answer, so don't stress saying like, I came up with 3 ideas and they actually didn't like any of them. That's okay. If they don't like any of them, you say, okay, well, what are you interested in learning about? What would make a difference for you? And you really just start from there. And so I am going to kind of wrap this up for today because we have more content tomorrow that we're going to completely continue to expand on this concept and idea. But I'm going to do a really quick recap of today and then quick highlights from earlier in the week so that you can get a sense of how we've built to this point. And then I strongly recommend, go back, watch the videos. They're super quick. But earlier this week, we spoke about getting crystal clear on your dream audience. I say this over and over and over again because I promise you, in an earlier video, I think I shared my story about finding my dream audience. But if you don't know who you're trying to market to crystal clearly, nobody can help you find that audience. And that's like really what I can say there. It takes something. It takes more than like, oh, I sat down and I wrote my dream client and I figured it out. It's like, no, you write down who you think your dream client is, and then you share it with a bunch of other people. And then you start figuring out, sorry, I'm going to answer Delaney's question here as well. But what I'm saying is, as you're starting to think about who your dream client is. And for me, a lot of times I make it up. I'm like, these are the people who I want to work with. I'm going to describe that person. And then I walk around and I share, with other business owners, or you can do it in this Facebook group. You say, here's who my dream audience is, and see, like, does this resonate with you? Can you picture a person based on my description? Do you have questions? And once you have that sort of written out, you start going, okay, I have an idea of who my dream audience is. Let me step into their world, which is what we discussed yesterday. Step into their world and start figuring out where you can add value to their lives. And then once you figure out how you can add value to their lives, we also discussed yesterday brainstorming content ideas that would make a difference for them. And really just getting a sense of, if I were my dream client in their shoes right now in their world, what content or information would make a huge difference for me today so I can get to where I want to go. So you constantly want to look at where your audience is today, where they're trying to go, and create content that bridges that gap. So that's something that I will also expand on tomorrow. And once you do that, the assignment for today, and to get to Delaney's question, is you really go, okay, I now have a list of ideas for content. I want to pull my dream client to get a sense of which of these pieces of content on my list. You can pick all of them. You can pick 2 or 3. I recommend more picking 2 or 3 to start, and figuring out which one resonates with them more. And to be able to find your dream client, I recommend a couple of ways to kind of get in their world to ask them which piece of content makes the most sense. So you can do a couple of things. You can, one, ask your friends and family if they know anybody who fits the description of your dream client. So you start by just asking everyone you know. You can post it on Facebook if you feel comfortable and say, hey guys, I'm starting this business. Here's my dream client. I would like them to give me some feedback on some content ideas I was pushing out there. If you fit this description or know anybody who does, can you please have them, email me or click this link to the survey or pass it around? You can do that. Then I also recommend you doing a search for Facebook groups and just popping into ones that make the most sense for your business. Definitely read the rules of the Facebook groups, because certain Facebook groups have very specific days that you can ask for feedback. So sometimes it's Feedback Friday or, Resource Tuesday. I'm making that up a little bit, but there could be specific days where it's okay to go in there and say, I would like somebody's opinion on the content that I've created or that I'm thinking of creating. And then you can go into that Facebook group, and on that day, right, here's my dream client. Here are 3 content ideas I'm thinking of discussing or writing about or creating videos about, whatever that may be. Which of these resonate with you if you fit this description of my dream client. And so really just going out there and just searching, and don't stop. You can talk to, if you meet somebody at a coffee shop and they say, what do? You can describe your dream client to them. Say, actually, I'm looking for folks, whether it's women or men or both, anyone who fits this description of my dream client. Do you actually know anybody? Because I would love to get their feedback on something. And it's really like just spread the word as much as you can in terms of who you're looking to connect with, and then just start asking them questions. And I will say that if you have challenges finding your dream client, definitely post that in our Facebook group, because maybe I know someone or somebody else in the group knows someone that could really help you get in contact with your dream client so that you can ask them for feedback. So that is the gist of today. Today's homework, again, is to just start polling your audience and asking them which piece of content would make the most sense. I'd love to hear how that's going, so please don't hesitate to comment in this post or anywhere within the Facebook group. And we'll continue this conversation tomorrow, which I'm super excited about because we'll go deeper. And again, the idea is that each day we're just getting deeper and deeper in terms of steps that you can take little by little to create content that really adds value to your dream clients. And then we're going to start talking about how you can then lead them down a pathway so that you're actually signing on these dream clients that you're creating content for. So again, thank you so much. Have an amazing day. Thank you for joining Content and Coffee. And again, we'll start tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Bye, guys.